good day today, Pam. Very
It is. It is.
really good topic. Off. What's that?
Dale Marie Creations.
Okay.
Yeah, hello, Blair Young.
I was yesterday.
Tell you. Yeah.
Not only those, there is. We're going to talk about reading for you. We'll go ahead and get started. Let's talk about what the podcast is all about. And I call it the elevation.
Hello, everyone. So I am Pamela Shakir, licensed clinical social worker, and my beautiful partner, I don't want to say partner in crime, but partner in therapy, and my sounding board, my beautiful friend, she is
Sheryl Brown, family here.
Yes. So we want to welcome you all to the Authentic House podcast. We appreciate everyone for joining us each and every time we're on. Sometimes when we take our little breaks, I'm gonna be honest, I miss it a little bit, but I know we need that time to kind of like recuperate and also be prepared and so that we can get on here and give you guys our best. The goal of this platform is to be able to share some really great life-changing nuggets with you guys. Yes, we are going to come with a little twist of faith because we are both believers, but we do have information for non-believers as well. And so we hope that you would not only tell yourself, but tell your friend, tell your cousin, tell your best friend, tell your sister and your brother and your family, or just your friends to come and join and get this free wisdom. We're not on here providing therapy, but we are still giving some insight on some great topics. And tonight we have an awesome topic, Sheryl. We are on tonight to talk about the narcissist, the transformation and the healing. And so, Sheryl, I want to give you the mic so that you can add in what you want to say before we get started.
No, that was really perfect. The only thing that I would like to add is a lot of people, when we be saying, reading, giving you terminology that comes from the DSM book, a lot of people do not understand. So our goal, one of our missions, is to break it down to you what it means. And then we employ the wisdom of break it down of, some simple solution, practical things that you can do at home. Because the bottom line, it all starts within the mindset, and we want to do that. But I do like to greet Facebook, and I do like to greet YouTube, and how the YouTube channel is growing, to let everyone know, and I will let you know. So people don't be going searching. We're downloading and we're going on. So we have started Spotify, but don't be Googling. Well, girl, it's on there, but we are testing the ground, making our modification. Then we're going to go to Apple. So we're hitting one after another. But I will be doing a big coming on live and also doing promos to let you know that it's on. And I want you to start sharing and start telling other people. So what that means that you could be in the car, that you could be listening to it, you can be cleaning the house, or whatever you're doing, you can listen to the podcast over and over again. We got our new shirts on right here. Eventually, I think we start selling them. We have the black ones. We have
be able to show. I see Facebook and YouTube can see it, but
so this is the purple.
Our new pretty shirts.
Yeah, so it's cute. It's cute. So we try to change up once in a while, but
get a little, sprinkle, a little spark.
A little sprinkle. Oh Lord. Hey sis, how you doing? Who is that also? There was somebody else that joined.
It's Jador _Amor.
All right.
Welcome. Thank you for
All
joining.
right,
I
Trip
hope I
Dora.
said that right.
That's pretty.
It is.
So I want you guys to start sharing already. Start telling other people. You can click right now and start sharing the podcast.
Mhm.
And those who are live on Facebook, start sharing and so forth. But what we've been talking about, and this is our last segment on narcissists. This is part
Mhm.
4, and we started from the beginning. We talked about, I think it was Mr. and Mrs. Narcissist, and we
Uh-huh.
talked about, the difference. What is a narcissist? We gave the
Mhm.
definition. We gave the distinct definition, the difference between a male narcissist and a female narcissist. They're
Correct.
similar, but there are some differences that take
Uh-huh.
place because you have to
Yes.
keep in mind women are more emotional, so things will kind of shift a little bit. So we
Mhm.
did talk about that. Then the week after that, we talked about uh,
The
uh,
parents.
the parent of a narcissist.
Mhm.
I hope I
Mhm.
said no. No, not only give us
The
the
parent that's a narcissist.
no. We did. Oh, wait a minute. Was it? Oh,
We started off with meet the narcissist.
number 2.
Mhm.
This is narcissist,
That's
and
correct.
then we
And
talked
then
about
meet the narcissist parent.
my parent is a
Mhm.
narcissist. You know,
Mhm.
you have to go back to Cheryl underscore Masterpiece Women over
Uh-huh.
Facebook and look over and take notes. And been getting a lot of comments. And people are just saying how this is really having this topic has really been impactful for them, give them a better understanding what to do and how to do. And Pamela, I got one question from I think it was a gentleman. He said both of his parents were narcissists, and he's been getting help and so forth. But he asked me this question. I thought that was so unique and so heartfelt, and I felt the relief when I answered. It was just a short answer. He said, "Are narcissists created or born?" And I
Mhm.
that's a very good question. I said narcissists are created, and you can feel
Mhm.
the relief in his
Mhm.
whole just from just in just from words that he put on there, just like a relief. And so he's doing his best not to go into that kind of reality, and I commend that
Yeah.
person from that. But
Yeah. Good
what
for him.
what we want to talk about tonight is transformation versus healing. Donise, if you can type that in for me, transformation versus healing. You guys said, who's Donise? Well, Donise is my niece, and my beautiful sister Brenda's on also. Love you, Brenda. And but we're going to talk about the transformation versus healing, and
Mhm.
and so the purpose of this podcast is twofold, Pamela, and to the Authentic
Mhm.
Talk family, is that Pamela and I will be addressing the question: is it possible for a narcissist to change? I'm going to say it again.
Mm.
Is it possible for a narcissist to change? And then the
Mhm.
second purpose is the healing process for those who have been traumatized, used,
Mhm.
belittled, manipulated, etc., by a narcissist. And
Mhm.
someone had asked me, I was conversating with someone, they said, well, Cheryl, what's the difference between a transformation versus healing? And there's a big difference. Is for a narcissist, they have to be a total transformation. What the definition for transformation is a thorough or dramatic change internally.
Yeah, that's what I
Mhm.
was thinking, a
Uh,
change.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's a total.
Mhm.
It's a total renovation of the soul.
Yeah,
And
and
the
oh, I like that word renovation.
uh-huh.
Yeah, gutting out everything, gutting
That
all of that. Oh,
yeah.
it's about me and arrogance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
getting rid of that. He or she, watch this, Pam. He or she been hoarding that for so long.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
yes.
So long.
Mhm.
So it's a total renovation of the soul. And someone might ask, well, what is the soul? The soul is comprised of the mind,
Mhm.
the will, the intellect, and the emotion. And so we want to talk more so about the emotions and the mindset, because it's a mindset.
It
And
is a mindset.
Pamela, we even talked about from the very beginning how a narcissist was cultivated by their parents, you know,
Mm.
and how they were given that grandiose
Mhm.
mentality, like you're the best and
The
you're
golden child.
you better
Mhm.
than everyone else, and put everyone else down. And then went into that Freud theory, what they were talking about. He was talking about that they were not, they were unable, or they were not taught how to share love. And I thought
Yes.
so important.
Mhm.
And for parents, that's so important. You teach your children to love themselves, but
Mhm.
also to be able to love others, to share love. Hey, Paige, how
Correct.
you doing?
That's correct.
So we talked about that. And then so what we're talking about, what is a narcissist? One who possessed the traits of a narcissist changing. And Pamela,
Mhm.
that's what we want to get into.
Mhm.
And I think, Pamela, what we want to talk about is what do they have to give up? what what if a narcissist, because I was that article and I didn't pull it up. Did you pull up that article, Pamela?
I read over it. Yeah.
Wasn't that good?
Yes,
Wasn't
it
that
was
good?
a very good
Uh,
article, and it was some things I didn't know, so I also, was able to learn some new things. But,
mhm,
um, to them, they would have to give up a lot, and basically, they would have to come out of the spotlight
mhm.
and be the backup singer or be the backup dancer or just be in the backup in general.
Mhm, mhm. And a couple things, and they have to number one, they have to have a will to change, okay?
Yes.
Then number two, they have to and right, somebody type this in. They have to
Mhm.
trade in their self-centered reality,
That's that spotlight.
right?
Yes.
Trade in
Mhm.
that spotlight, their
Mhm. Trade
self-centered
it in.
and be more cognizant of the realities of others.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So that is that is so very important.
Mhm.
And I think, Pam, a lot of narcissists who are not willing to change is that there's a fear.
Mhm.
There's a fear that they're going to tap in of what they've been trying to camouflage for so long, the low self-esteem,
Mhm.
the inadequacies.
The insecurities, yes.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
and I was thinking when you said that what they would have to trade in, they first would have to they have to acknowledge that it is a problem. If
mhm,
they don't see, and that's what anything, if you don't see it's a problem, then
mhm,
you don't see the change. You'll just basically think that everyone is coming against you, but they have to first acknowledge that it is a problem.
mhm, and Pam
Yeah,
hit it right here, and these are a couple things that, they said, "It is impossible to change a narcissist unless they recognize the problem and want to change," what you
that,
just said.
that's right.
Then
Mm-hmm.
theoretically, change is possible. It hinges on whether an individual can recognize their problematic behavior and
Mm-hmm.
introspective that is often exclusive to those with MPD. However, the will to change must be self-driven. Somebody type that in. Has to be self-driven, and this is often where the real challenge lies. So it has to,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I even asked you, Pamela. It seemed like to me, and a question that I had, and we kind of talk about, how if somebody who's an alcoholic or somebody who's addicted to a
Mm-hmm.
drug seem like they have to hit rock bottom before they decide they want to change. And I guess the question that I have, would it seem like a narcissist have to hit rock bottom before they really want to change?
I mean, some of them, it just depends on how badly that disorder impacts them.
Mhm.
Some of them don't have to hit rock bottom. Some of them may hit rock bottom and don't realize that's rock bottom. And some may say, you know what? I
Mhm.
just got so tired of losing people in
Mhm.
my life because there is only a certain amount of time when they enter into someone's life, they can pretend
Mhm.
that they're nice and they're happy. And, you when you're around some, you'll hear them say, oh, I'm full of life. I'm always happy. And, I love life. And, I don't hang around people that's negative because I don't like negativity.
Mhm.
I try to live a positive life. That's why I go to the gym and I work out and I eat good. And then they'll encourage other people to go to the gym and eat good. And only for so long, at about 30, 60 days, and that real them started to creep up and started to
Mhm.
slowly but surely start to come out. And
Mhm.
if you don't catch it and you don't know too much about it, you'll take it, like I said, as that they're just having a bad day.
Mm. Mm.
Mhm.
And and Pamela, and also, it's like some possessions. What the what is what is a narcissist hanging on to, and that's what they have to be willing to let go. And I think we talked about
Mhm.
they have to be able to let go of their self-centered reality, because that's where they thrive from and they survive
Mhm.
from for so long, and that
Mhm.
that becomes their way of interacting with the world, of getting
That's
what they
true.
want. So they have to
Mhm.
be willing to let go of that. They have to be willing to let go of their perception of their self.
Yes.
They keep their self way up here, even though
Mhm.
internally it's way down here, but it's so camouflaged that they don't even recognize it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And then they have to change their behavior patterns, their actions.
Yes.
So those are a lot
Mhm.
I get it. Those are a lot of things that are being they're being challenged, um,
Mhm.
uh, uh, uh,
Mhm.
to give up, but they have to
Mhm.
have a what? And then they have to give up their script. Their script is just the same. It doesn't change. Isn't that
No, I'm telling you, it does not change. You literally can hear them on, let's say if they were videotaping something, the
mm-hmm,
same conversation they would say to you could hear them saying that with someone else.
mm-hmm.
It never changed. Even if they're trying to, if they meet someone that's new, the same pickup line they use with you, they're gonna use the same with them. It never changed because they don't have, how should I say, they don't have any,
The capacity?
not the capacity, they don't have it. It's nothing new to them. They're not trying to better and increase themselves. So what they work with, they feel like, is golden, like they feel it's valid.
And
Yeah, I don't,
don't
I'm losing my
no,
words,
but
but they don't have to
don't
change
change
anything.
don't change anything if it works. If
Yeah, if it's
uh-huh.
not broke, don't fix it.
Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh.
Yeah, I can't think of what I want to say, but yes, they're not trying to say, oh, I kind of like, I didn't do right in that relationship, so let me kind of work on myself and correct some things. No, they're not thinking to do that at all.
Well, they say they believe in their truth.
Yes,
They
yes,
believe in their truth. A whole
yes.
watch this. Somebody write this down. They have brainwashed themselves. That's it right there. They have brainwashed themselves that they believe that their
Mhm.
reality is right and everyone has to cater to their reality, come into their reality and live from their reality. And if you
Wow.
and that's a lot of work living from a narcissist reality because they're never satisfied. Now I'm not never mention no names, but it's like it's a big thing in the celebrity realm right now. And they're just talking about different narcissists and how they just never satisfy. They're never well, if celebrity or not a celebrity, there's a lot of people out there that are never
Never satisfied.
never satisfied. So
Mm-hmm.
when you go into the reality of a narcissist, when you become one of those
Mm-hmm.
actors or actress,
Mm-hmm.
you are taking a big role and you have that whole script that you have to read and live by that watch it that somebody type this, it drains your soul, Pamela.
Mm-hmm.
It drains your soul. And
Yeah.
and what did the word said? You prosper and be in health as your soul prosper. And
Mm-hmm.
authentic talk family and those listening afterward, your soul is one of your prized possession. And if
Mm-hmm.
your soul is not prospering, then you will not be healthy. You will not be productive in any other areas of your life. There's a key
Mm-hmm.
thing. When your soul prosper, your health is good. When your
Mm-hmm.
soul prosper, you can see your purpose and fulfill dreams. And when you go into the reality of a narcissist, then your purpose, your destiny, and your dreams are put to side because you are fulfilling what they become the dictator of your life.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate that I don't think that they are really keyed into the fact about their soul. Because if you are really keyed into the fact about your soul, you would want to do those things and you want to make sure that you're doing the right things to make sure you're on the right track. They're not worried about that.
Well, they're gonna be worried about today after we finish. After we finish, I broke the thing down to you now.
You broke it down, but I'm just
Now,
saying that in their mind, they're like, I'm perfect.
yeah. Well, I'm talking about the soul of. Well, yeah, but I was talking about the soul of the of.
I hear everything. Yes, I
So
hear exactly what you said.
it's
Yes.
you know what
Mhm.
authentic talk family and those living afterwards. That's why we tell
That's
you.
right. That's
That's
right.
what you say.
She said, I feel sorry for a narcissist because they don't recognize their soul is in danger. They don't.
Mm-hmm.
They don't recognize it. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, what? What, nothing wrong with my soul.
Mhm. Well, I
Yeah.
wasn't really talking about yeah, I get that, but I was talking about the soul of the victim who goes into their world.
Oh,
That's
yes.
what I'm talking
Yes.
about. I'm talking about
Yes.
that they have their soul has been stripped, vandalized, belittled, becomes nothing
Yes.
because they have joined souls with someone
Hmm.
else that doesn't
Hmm.
care about that. A
Hmm.
narcissist is well,
You'll be it's kind of like their soul has been bankrupt and abandoned.
exactly.
Yeah. It's like a building and it's empty and you gotta put the pieces back there. You gotta move the furniture back
Mhm,
in. You gotta put the pictures back on the wall. You gotta put some paint on the
mhm.
wall, hang the curtains. That's
Mhm.
what you're doing by rebuilding yourself
Mhm.
when you are recovering from being in a relationship with a narcissist.
Right,
You're
right,
putting the pieces back together for yourself, rediscovering you and building you back.
right, and that's what
Mhm.
we hit on that on the healing process, but
Okay.
the time that what we do have, let's talk about how can tell if a narcissist is changing, because there's nothing impossible. How
Mhm.
hell. And so I want people to really write this down, that number one, they start to listen. So say for instance, they decide they want to make the change, they decide
Mhm.
they want to go through a therapeutic process, and they're really
Mhm.
making this effort because they're like you said, they're tired of losing people, something just a
Mhm.
lot, something shift and change, and then there's that transformation
Yes.
taking place. Number
Mhm.
one is they immediately take personal accountability for what they have done, and
Mhm.
that's a big thing, 'cause a narcissist don't take accountability for what they have done
Mhm.
at all.
Mhm.
So when they start taking accountability for what they have done, "Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I did that, that was my fault," rather than doing the blame game, then they're heading on to that journey of changing, if
Mhm.
that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Mhm.
Number 2 is they start to listen to feedback.
Mm. Mhm.
And then I think that goes right into that, had came to me, and I was writing, and this came to me. You can tell when they change is when they start. Well, let me put it this way: what is needed in a narcissist's life who's trying to go from a narcissist to a non-narcissist to make the change, they need an accountability partner. And
Mhm.
that's very important. Accountability partner, that's one that does not support one's narcissistic behavior or thoughts.
They don't enable them. They
Mhm.
just they call them out on whatever is toxic.
Mhm.
They let them know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Mhm.
and this accountability partner, somebody type that in the chat box, is an individual
Mhm.
beyond his or her a reality. It's a person who challenged that person to look beyond his or her reality. And
Mhm.
that is very important. And so we have what we have. They merely take for personal accountability. They listen to feedback. They have to have
Mhm.
accountability. This is one who's going through the journey and trying to make changes. Okay.
Mhm.
And there's
Mhm.
somebody in this world, everybody follow me, that was a narcissist and made changes, and
Yes,
it's
that's
a
correct.
process. Um,
Mhm.
Another one is that they pay better attention to you and others.
Mhm.
That's very important, because isn't basically Pamela, is that they really don't pay attention to the people who are around them. It's just
Mhm.
they focus on their agenda. Am I about right on that?
That's definitely right.
Mm.
Mhm.
The next one is
Mhm.
that they show better emotional support, regulation skills, and I think we talked about that, Pamela, is that you said, Cheryl, they lack that, emotional and social skills, which is
Mhm.
essential for an interpersonal relationship. Is that about right?
Mhm. Well, now they know how to socialize because remember when they get into when they're in certain settings, they want to take over the conversation, so they know how to do that, but they lack empathy, and
Mhm,
so that's when it comes in where they start to place themselves in other people's shoes. They can
mhm,
understand and be more loving and kind, but oh no, they know how to socialize very well,
mhm. Those
very
ski those skills are high, huh?
very well. There's no deficits in that area.
Uh-huh, and here's the next one.
Mhm.
They are consistent.
They start to become
They
consistent,
start and
yes.
become consistent, okay? And
Mhm.
then, and it seems like when they do make these changes and they stay like that, it seems like this sound like it's a beautiful person all under that.
Mhm. Well, Imma be honest with you, some of them are charmers.
And
They
they're
can be really nice
sweet.
and
They're
likable people,
oh,
sweet,
mhm,
and when you get the good side of them, they will buy you all type of gifts,
mhm.
take you everywhere, but if you get that coin, that Heckle, what is that Heckle and Mr. what is it, Jekyll or
Dr.
Mr.
Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
Dr.
Mhm,
That flip over,
mhm,
then that's when the narcissist shows up.
mhm,
But yeah,
mhm,
and one thing I was thinking about, and I don't want to forget, is that they also start to become really curious about their behavior. That's when like, oh, okay, so if they're curious about their behavior and how they're acting and recognizing that some of the things, the behaviors that they do is not right, that is a telltale sign also to kind of let you know, oh, okay, they may be on a road to want to change and being receptive to going to therapy because
mhm,
a lot of them will not would say if they're not ready they're not going to go to therapy, but when they do get ready, Cheryl, they need to be in therapy.
Mhm. And,
They need to.
a question we get all the time or someone asks was, it's like, I asked them to go to therapy, they don't wanna go to therapy, they don't think they don't need help. It's the fear that they're
Mhm.
going to expose, that who they really are.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, the thing about it is, like Michael Jackson said, "Man in the mirror." You
Mhm,
have when you go to therapy, therapy makes you face yourself. There's no one else there.
mhm,
There's no one that's gonna, like, be there to cheer you on,
mhm,
when you're not right, when you're not doing something right, you
mhm,
know?
mhm,
Therapy helps you do,
mhm,
it helps you to do self-reflection,
mhm,
and it brings some things up in you and out of you that you didn't realize that was there. So therapy makes you do the work. And
mhm,
sometimes it's a lot of work for
mhm,
people that's not ready. But
mhm,
therapy is a good thing. It's
mhm,
not a bad thing. It's a good
mhm.
thing.
It is a good thing, and I think Pam,
Yeah.
go back what you were saying, they're cognizant of their behaviors, and I think
Mhm.
cognizant of their patterns and
Yes.
addressing them accordingly.
Mhm.
They're cognizant of their patterns. I thought that was really good,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
addressing them accordingly, and that is, what else I put in, and that was so, important that, you have to, because each of them have different kind of patterns.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
and, can we say, is it fair to say they become like their survival skills?
So to speak, yeah. Yeah,
Mhm,
because that's how they're able to they use certain patterns, certain things to get people to do things for them, you know.
mm,
Or you will hear them say, when I was in this relationship, in my past relationship, they said I was a narcissist, and I'm not a narcissist, and I don't control anyone, I don't make anyone do anything. That is automatically,
mhm,
when you hear that, you got to pay attention to that because it's like a little bit of a crack of a light to where they started. If they hear someone calling that, they start thinking like, okay, am I really a narcissist? Like, am I really doing some things that's like a narcissist? Because if they didn't think it, they're not going to bring it up. They're not going to mention, oh, such and such, or this person said I was a narcissist.
mm, mm.
Yeah.
Mm. So what I'm hearing is just, it's a lot of work, but it's a worthwhile work,
Yeah.
because you are, continuing this kind of relationship. You can lose some really quality people
Mhm.
that have loved you, invested time, and, you think about women who or men who've been married to narcissists for a long time, and they just can't take it anymore, and they lose out on a good person that is quality and love them
Yes.
and see the potentials in the and the narcissist who doesn't want to have work, everybody get this
Mhm.
clear, is once, when they feel that you're about to get out and they know you're gonna get out, they automatically have replaced you.
Oh, they'll have a ram in the bush, or if they don't wanna lose you, they can change. Oh,
Mhm,
they'll flip over and become your knight in shining armor, or they'll become the best woman that you've ever had, and as soon as they pull you back in, then that coin is flipped back over and they're changed. But I wanna go back to what you were saying, Cheryl, about when you've been married to a narcissist, if the person that was the victim in the relationship, uh if they don't get any therapy and really, get some time spent in with therapy, they'll get some good people that will come into their life as well, Cheryl, and they will mess it up. And it's not their fault, but they will mess it up because they haven't fully done the work to heal from being in that narcissistic abusive relationship.
Well, then Pamela, then that just goes right into it, is that,
Mhm.
when a person get out of a relationship with a narcissist, male,
Mhm.
female, they have to
Mhm.
telling people, you have to totally detach your soul completely,
Mhm.
physically, emotionally, mentally, from the narcissist. You have to detach yourself, um,
Mhm.
so you can regain self.
Mhm.
You can regain that, regain and develop your own identity,
Mhm.
your own reality. So you're gonna have
Oh,
to
that's a good
You have
Go ahead. I'm gonna
no.
bring up something, but go ahead. You right about that identity.
Yeah, you
Hmm.
have to totally detach from them. You can't let them keep right because they'll continue even though you say I'm done with them. They'll try to rewrite that script. Let me change and stay up all. Let me write this script just to keep them, let them know I'm
Hmm.
still there or to
Hmm.
pull you in or what. And that you have to completely detach your soul. And I like what R.C. Blake said. You have to detach your soul, especially if you have children, for the sake of your children because you can't help your children if your soul is still attached to their reality.
That's so good. And what you just really what you spelled out was the manipulation.
Mhm, mhm,
That's what the narcissist does. They manipulate them in any kind of way they can. And
mhm,
I like also when you brought up the identity part, it made me think about self abandonment. What I mean by self abandonment in a relationship, you can give so much to
mhm,
that other person in that relationship to where you lose your identity in
mhm,
that relationship. You are denying your needs, your feelings, your emotions, your everything because you don't want to make that person upset. You want to please that person. You
mhm,
want to make sure that you don't cause
mhm,
any problems in the relationship, although the narcissist is constantly causing problems in the relationship. And so that's really huge. I see that a lot, the self abandonment. I see that a lot in relationships that have been to where they've been in a toxic relationship. You don't even have to be with a narcissist.
mhm,
Just being in a unhealthy relationship,
mhm.
you can experience self abandonment.
Mhm, mhm. I just wanna say, greetings to Crushing Chemo Chick, and, you have to go on her page to see her praise report, but she's just, completely healed, and I just if you don't mind me throwing that out there, Crushing Chemo Chick, I am so proud of and just so happy what God has done. Um, then Pam but also that, what you were saying, and I wanna add on to this, is that,
Mhm.
the person has to be strong when they get out of that relationship, we're talking about that
Yes,
and stop letting them rewrite you a part in the script.
correct,
Stop
correct.
rewriting you
Any attention,
any
any attention,
any attention,
they want it.
uh-huh,
Mhm.
any
Yeah.
any attention, and, if they could
Mhm.
put water at your doorstep or, a case of water, they got
Mhm.
all kind of ways or, cash apping you some money, just checking on you, make sure you're
Mhm.
okay. See, they're rewriting you back into the script. And then when
Mm.
your soul ties are involved, then you say, "Well, I feel a little bit like they're changing," and, and then you starting to turn, and then that's just to lure you back in, and there you go back into that world again. It really is like a nightmare. It's a lot, you know?
Mhm.
But Pamela, but also I was talking about, thinking about
Mhm.
they have to start setting boundaries. This is the parent and for the children also who become adults. Start setting boundaries to protect your mental and emotional wellness.
It's very important, and that
Mhm.
setting that boundary, Imma go back to you a little bit when you would say, "Block them."
Mhm.
Setting that boundary is where
Oh,
you do have to block
I'm
everything.
I'm a
I
block
know.
I'm a blocker. I believe in block.
Yeah, you
Mhm,
have to block everything, in
mhm,
regards to that person out of your life
mhm,
so that you can get quiet and really, you know, really like take good care of yourself. I'll
mhm,
just say that. I don't
mhm,
want to go too deep, too spiritual, but just take really good care of yourself and start to put yourself first. It's really hard when
mhm,
you are so loving and kind and they play on that, Cheryl. They know the type of people to get with that's loving and kind, and
mhm,
especially if you have a sweetheart, they really play on that to get in relationships with people like that because then they know that person is going to be a giver and a
mhm,
giver and a giver, and then they stretch it like a rubber band. They think like, oh, I can just do X, Y, and Z, and oh, it's going to be okay because we're just taking a break.
mhm. You get hope back and hope for them because
Yeah,
some of the narcissists have excellent qualities,
I
they
mean, I'm telling you.
if they were really straight, then they have an assignment on their lives and stuff, but their
Mhm.
character their demeanor, all that stuff is just
Mhm.
is, self-contained, if you wanna put it that
Yes.
way. But,
Mhm.
going back to yourself, you said self-love. I wrote something down, Pamela. When you want to go through the healing process, this is the healing
Mhm.
process for the victim who has been, manipulated or used by the narcissist, is that you have to begin to create, and you need to write this down. You need to
Mhm.
begin to create your own reality that nurtures your overall
Mhm.
well-being. Imma say it
Yes.
again. You need to begin creating
Mhm.
your own reality, creating a solid identity that nurtures to your overall well-being. You said, "Sure, well, how do you do that?" Well, you have to have it's called word replacement. There's one thing, word
Mhm.
replacement, and Pamela knows I'm a, person that very much so believe how the words produce thoughts, and thoughts affect the emotions, and emotions trigger the feelings, and the feeling dictates the behavior. Let's just get to the
Mhm.
words and the thoughts, because whatever
Mhm.
words are like arrows that lead you in the direction that you should go.
Mhm.
So whatever words you say create the thoughts. Well, a
Mhm.
person has been in a relationship so long with a narcissist that you've been getting words that belittled you, words that manipulated you, all kind of words. Well, whatever the words may be, is that you're going to have to replace those thoughts when you're with yourself. Like Pam said, cut everything off, block them, no
Have to.
contact,
You
and
have to
then
get quiet.
you're gonna have to filter words in your mind, because see, all the mind was designed is to it's designed to shift. And
Mhm.
so when you have those words, you have to shift in your mind that I am important here on this earth.
Mhm.
I am somebody, whatever the case may be. You're gonna have to have words that replace and
Mhm.
provide a healthy, nurturing reality for yourself in order for
Mhm.
you to go on with life. And
Yes.
that is so important. You can't, and
Mhm.
you're saying, Paris, Pamela, and which I was kinda bring that together. You can't, take the same words that you had in a narcissistic relationship, and now you in
Mhm.
the relationship and carrying those same words, because
Mhm.
then what that would do is solidify the identity that you had when you was with the narcissist.
Yes, you have
That
to let that identity go.
Right, and if you
Mhm.
solidify the identity that you have with the narcissist, and you free from that person, then that's all you're
Mhm.
gonna attract is another narcissist, or
Yes.
someone who's not healthy for you. Is that
Mhm.
about right?
That's excellent. And while you were saying that, I know you were thinking about the replacing a word, but you have to do a lot of self positive talk to
Mm,
yourself.
of
You're going
course.
to have to feed your life. You're going to have to speak positive words over your life. If it's affirmations, if it's scriptures, you have to do it daily, sometimes several times a day
Mhm,
to for you to remember what your worth is.
mm,
Because if you've been in that relationship, you've been broken little by little
mhm,
down to where, like I said, you're bankrupt. And
mm,
sometimes you can't even think of the simplest thing to go and pick out what you're going to cook for that night, because
mm,
you can't think to get it together, because you're so worried. You're constantly second guessing yourself because you've had someone that's been that's criticized you negatively, to where you feel like if you go in the store and you try to put some things together, you don't want to make a mistake. And so you have to really do the work to get your identity back, and to tell yourself you are no longer living in
mm,
that type of environment. And so it takes work on the victim have to get into therapy as well, Cheryl,
mhm.
and take some time in therapy. And the narcissist, if you stay in a relationship with the narcissist, you don't expect him to change in a month. Don't expect him to change in six
He
months.
he
It's
mm,
going to take he or she is going to take some time. And
mhm,
so you have to be patient.
mm,
But
mhm,
as you see little progress, you
mm,
can acknowledge that, hey,
mm,
I see that, you caught yourself, and you came back and you apologized, or hey, I saw that you thought about me in that situation, and I appreciate that. So you do have to kind of throw out a little bit of nuggets, but I don't want you to think that they're going to change in this X amount of time, because like I said, every narcissist, it depends on how that disorder has impacted them. So it may take, certain ones a certain amount of time.
and that's good, and if a person does
Mhm.
decide because a couple things. Let me get that. Then, if a person decides to stay in the relationship, like
Mhm.
there's a lot of self love, and you're gonna have to get
Yes.
you a journal, or you're gonna have to talk on your phone, and you're gonna have to
Yes.
learn how to encourage yourself.
Hurt
If
yourself.
you stay in that, relationship, know how to go for your walks or go for a jog,
Yes.
and speak and
Mhm.
so you can protect. I'm gonna say it again, so you can protect your soul. Everybody, by the
Yeah.
time you keep watching this podcast, one day you're gonna wake up the realization, my soul is important. Your mind,
It's
your will, and
important.
is important, because that is connected to everything else. And then,
Yeah.
Pamela, to go back, what you were saying is that they have to, change the words they're saying because they've been in that relationship so long.
So long.
Why? You know why? Because the narcissists have dictated to your belief system.
Yes. And so they have to nurture, Cheryl,
Mhm.
their emotion. They have to be honed in on their emotional wellness.
Mhm.
and,
Mhm.
and they have to when you say set the boundaries, they have to let them know what will be deal breakers if they stay
Mhm.
in that relationship with them.
Mhm.
This is a deal breaker, that is a deal breaker, and this is a deal breaker, and whatever that deal breaker looks like, they
Mhm.
have to communicate
Mhm.
that to their partner or their husband, their wife, so that they would know these are the things I'm not going to tolerate. Hey,
Mhm.
I love you, I want to stay in this relationship, I'm willing to see you through this, but I cannot allow you to do this, and I cannot take this. I'm not going to accept this.
Mhm. And then also, Pamela, I've heard people say, well, once they get out of the relationship, they feel so much better. And
Mhm.
but I want you to realize you feel so much better, but you still really mentally, emotionally just started exing or getting out, and put that getting out of the wilderness. So
Yes.
wait until you completely get out of the wilderness through your
Mhm.
exit out of the wilderness. That's what I want to say, and go
Yeah.
through your healing process before you decide to get into another relationship.
Yes.
And that is so important. Don't jump into see a narcissist can jump into another relationship, but you don't do that because you want to work on you, so you make sure that you don't track the same thing that you have.
Yeah, you want to be aware. I tell people all the time, pay attention to the things you absolutely loved about that person.
Mhm.
Those qualities don't just stay with that one person. Those qualities are with another person. Pay
Mhm.
attention to the things you absolutely did not like
Mhm.
about that person, because when you
Mhm.
get back out there and you start dating,
Mhm.
those telltale signs are going to show up, and we call them red flags.
Mhm.
They're going to show up and you're going to see it. And one thing that's I'm really huge about is I tell people, learn the fruits of the spirit. When
Mhm.
you learn those fruits of the spirit, you will see those great, they're just like great qualities in a person. You will see that in the person, and that's going to be your indicator. Oh, okay, this may be a person that I might want to get to know. And
Mhm.
then you can get to know them and take that friendship, slowly. Take it slow,
Mhm.
have fun, giggle, good, 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 but don't be so quick to be in a relationship, like you said, Cheryl, in a month or two. It's gonna crumble anyways. I
Right,
just have to say that. Oh
right.
God, did I
You
say that? It's gonna crumble.
and then if a
It's
person
not
is
gonna work
and if
out.
a person is rushing you to be in a relationship, that's a
It's not
sign.
gonna work
That's
out.
not the sign that they're, oh God, people rushing us.
Mhm,
People are rushing Pamela
mhm.
to get in a relationship. Let me just talk spirit. Talk. Let me go there.
Okay.
If you and you take it how you want it. If you when you are in liking somebody, ask God.
Mhm,
I'm going there and ask God, is that the one? Don't make the decision for God.
mhm,
Ask God that. See, a lot of people don't even ask; they just make the
mhm.
decision.
And that is true.
And
Yeah.
when you make the decision and it doesn't work out right, then you're on your own, okay? And
Yeah.
it becomes your reality. There's a lot of people that you have to be aware of. Do we make mistakes? Of course, and do we miss it? But
Mhm,
there should be a time that we become more
mhm,
mature and we discern more who should be in our life. But if
mhm,
anybody rush you, all of a sudden that we're a couple and things taking place.
mhm.
I always say, how is that person like? What is that person like when they're mad? You need to check that out. Can you handle that if they get mad?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
yeah.
these are different things. And why are you rushing me? And why here it is. Why are you rushing me to be in a relationship with me? And there's so much to know about me.
Yeah, get to know them. Get to know them. To spend some time, be in their environment. See
Mhm.
how they move and
Mhm.
how they, see how they handle stress.
Mhm.
Do they, like I said, some lives, in the past, do they blow up
Mhm.
and people in the community,
Mhm.
are they able to have a decent conversation when they're upset, or are they hollering and cussing and maybe not even cussing, just yelling and raising their voice?
Mhm.
You have to, you want to see all of that person, because you have to make sure that's going to work with you. And I tell people this: one thing about when you've experienced some things in a relationship, your body is going to give you an indicator if somebody is for you or not, because they can do something and it can give you a flare up. It can either make your stomach hurt, it can start making you feel like you might skip your meals, you may feel like you can't really rest. Like your body is gonna remind you, hey,
Mhm.
that right there is a trigger.
Mhm.
That's familiar to you. You've experienced that. You
Mhm.
shouldn't be experiencing those things in a healthy relationship.
An unhealthy relationship. Mhm. Mhm.
You you shouldn't be in if you're in a healthy relationship, you shouldn't be experiencing old
Right.
triggers. That's
Right.
what I
Right.
mean.
And,
Yeah.
and then, because Pam, that's because really women, let's break it down. It can affect your hormones, all
Your
the,
hair.
because the okay, the purpose of being in a relationship with two couples, not saying that you don't have
Mhm.
misunderstandings or whatever, but
Exactly.
it's all about growth, and it's all about the concern about your wellness.
Yes.
Look at Boaz. Let's just go there. Boaz, and,
Ooh.
and was it what? Who was it Ruth? No,
It
was
was
it?
Ruth. Uh-huh.
And he was so concerned about her soul to make
I
sure she was
mean, from
okay.
day one.
And Imma do the break it down. He said that, in other words, he didn't want her to worry about anything.
When I
And
say nothing, nothing,
right,
Cheryl.
so that means that he was concerned about her mind, her will, her soul,
Yes.
but that, because that soul part, that mind part has an impact on your physical body.
Yeah. And
And
how you act and
and
how you show up.
And so when you have a person in a relationship that they're concerned about you, it just puts your
Yes.
body at ease.
At
But
ease.
but you've been in a relationship with a narcissist,
Mhm.
they fooling around or what, and you staying up all night
Mhm.
wondering where they are and
Mhm.
so forth. That has an impact on your look. And start off a silent impact, but it will
Mhm.
eventually make noise that something is wrong.
Yeah. And they don't even have to be a narcissist. Just
Mhm.
if they cut up in general,
Mm.
it's gonna make you feel like that. But Boaz,
You
from the time he met her, he just arranged it. Just from that one day,
uh,
he demonstrated so many fruits of the spirit.
mhm,
Ruth had to go back to him. Like,
mhm,
how you meet somebody and they
mhm.
just, they show up and they doing this and that, and you go and tell your friend, oh girl, he was doing this and he did this, and oh, and he opened up the door and he did this, and these are nice things, and then he made sure I had this.
'Cause he
Boaz was just taking care of her, sure, all throughout
right.
that day.
And
One day.
and the men, when you take care of her, then the woman will just
Mhm.
make feel uh, uh, feel like that king. It's just autumn. You
Yes,
become a king or queen when you get married. You are before you get married.
you are.
This person's just
Mhm.
adding on who you already are. If that,
That's correct.
but Pam, I want to hit it real quick. I don't want
Mhm.
that how to deal with a narcissist parent. For those who may have parents, they're adults now. Let's go from that aspect.
Mhm.
And I'm just
Mhm.
real quick, but it says, remind yourself that you're dealing with a narcissist. Always keep in mind that you can't change them. They have to have the will to want to change. No, you cannot change a narcissist. We talked about that. Avoid questioning yourself. That's very important. Avoid questioning
Mhm.
yourself. What did I do wrong? Because see
Don't
that.
second guess.
Don't second guess whatsoever, because it says
Mhm.
narcissistic people can be convincing, and it can be tempting to start questioning whether
Mhm.
you're in the wrong. See, that's where they can drive you
Mhm.
crazy,
Or
right?
they'll blame you and make you feel like you're in the wrong.
But it's best to stay confident and avoid questioning yourself. Narcissists perfectly manipulate to get you to see things their way. If you're going to
Mhm.
stay in a relationship with a narcissist and they're not changing, I recommend that you get you a journal and you start writing down everything. You writing down everything, and write the date so you won't, for
Mhm.
yourself, so you won't
Mhm.
feel like you are losing it. You
Mm.
get it, write it down. Yeah, if you're gonna stay or children's, you get write it down. And this is what they said, da 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 da. And I don't care if they ignore it or not, but you have it right there, so you can
Yeah.
keep the sanity of your mind.
Mhm.
Another one said, don't try to explain narcissism to a narcissist. They don't want to know about that because they don't see
Mm-mm.
themselves like that. Okay.
No, not at
Uh,
all.
don't isolate yourself with the narcissist parents. I like that. Don't be by yourself with them. Always have, always have a witness with you.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
uh-huh. It's
If the witness is going to be strong enough to say, let the narcissist know they're wrong, it has to be someone that's willing to not be a yes
mhm. It
person.
said this, Pam, if you end up alone with a narcissist parent, you run the risk that they'll try to manipulate you across boundaries that you set. Only spending
Mhm.
time with your parent in a group setting will minimize your contact with them and provide a buffer if they do attempt to engage in hurtful behavior.
Yeah, that's good.
Uh,
That's
and
good.
And then we've been talking about setting boundaries. You need to be firm with your narcissistic parent and about any boundaries you have, whether your boundaries involve the
Mhm.
amount of time you want to spend with them or the topic you will be discussing. If they try to cross those boundaries, be assertive, get out, and go by your business.
Mhm.
Another one, don't accept false promises. Another one, be direct about their role in your life. I think, be clear, this is your role in my life and this is about it.
Yeah.
I thought those were really good, insightful things of how to
Yes, they
deal with
are.
because they steal your blood, they steal your parents, but the bottom line is you still got to guard your heart and
Yes.
you have to know how to guard it perfectly.
And you gotta take care of yourself. And I'm gonna just throw this out.
Do it.
Um, you don't you I mean, yes, you do want to go to therapy if you need that help. So I'm not gonna never say that.
Hmm.
But you educate yourself on a narcissist. If you're gonna stay there in the relationship, or if your parent is one, educate yourself on what a narcissist is and how to interact with that narcissist, because you may not feel like you want to go to therapy, but you definitely can Google and you can learn,
Hmm.
and you can there's a
You can
wealth of knowledge.
watch our podcast because we're educating you.
Like, that's right.
Now, let's go right. We're educating you, and plus you're getting a good laugh, and we're breaking it down in layman terms.
Yes.
We can
Mm-hmm.
we can use all the big words, but the bottom line, when
Yes.
you going through, you don't want no big words.
No.
You just want to know how to master
How
life.
do I handle this? How do
Right.
I do this?
And that's why, and don't let this sit on your lap. If you know someone is going through, please share this with other people and play this over. And eventually, we'll let you know when that podcast we're downloading, like I said, and I'll do
Mhm.
the big campaign and let you know when it's out. But yeah,
Can I
Pamela.
say one thing really quick before
Mhm,
I want to say this. If you have been diagnosed as a narcissist, with a narcissist personality disorder, and you are in therapy, I commend you. I
mhm,
commend you that you are going to,
mhm,
you acknowledge that there's a problem and you're doing the work that's needed to change.
mhm,
And I wish you tons of the best, and I want you to stay encouraged and know that it's not an overnight thing. Don't throw in a towel.
mhm,
If you get frustrated, if you lose some people, that might come with it, because maybe you probably like burn bridges.
mhm,
But you working on yourself and you getting better, and
mhm,
then in hopes that you can gain some new people in your life, and you now know how, or you will learn how to treat them.
mhm,
So I just want to say that if you do have that diagnosis, I commend you for
mhm,
going to therapy and doing the work.
mhm, mhm. That's really good from both ends,
Yes.
the narcissist
Hmm.
and the non
Or the victim. Yes.
journey.
Hmm.
But once
It
you go through the
is.
journey, it's a beautiful thing at the other.
It
And I
is.
think
It
that's the bottom
is.
line. When you go through the journey, always make sure you see on the other side.
Oops.
Uh-oh, there we go. Clack, clack.
Sorry.
That's like a big fight. Yeah, but make sure you see what's on the other side. Well,
Yes.
that's ending for us on the
Yes.
narcissist, and I hope it's in depth, very deep. Play the podcast over and over again, and take out the nuggets that will help you.
Mhm.
And then I think our next topic that Pamela and I was talking about, we're going to be talking about the grieving process. We're
Yes.
not going to be long
Grief
on that.
health.
We're
Mhm.
going to be strong.
Mhm.
Uh,
Mhm.
says. Very
Thank you, guys.
you.
Thank you.
And so we're going to be talking about the grieving process. We'll everyone who watch it live and those who watch it thereafter. The numbers are just not a number of person. What I look at numbers live that they are impacting. We really appreciate you who take these nuggets and the testimony that I'm getting and prayer getting. Lives are changed. Nothing because of what we do, it's because we just giving people God. And that's the bottom here. That's just how we roll. About the bottom line. And we want to tell everybody, make sure you have a beautiful evening.
Beautiful evening.
Have a question, just DM me at Sheryl from Masterpiece Women and take it from there. So everybody, good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.